As you probably know, we've just seized a tanker on the coast of Venezuela.
In the seizure of this tanker, what happens to the oil on that ship?
Well, we keep it, I guess.
Ladies and gentlemen, huge news just dropped. This is massive. Let me get this on the screen. What you are looking at right here is a seized Venezuelan oil tanker. This is the live look of this Venezuelan oil tanker being seized out in international waters off of Venezuela's coast. Reports have come out that it was carrying a full load of heavy crude oil and it was headed towards Cuba. The operation was run by the Coast Guard with Navy backup, and it is the first time we've actually taken a tanker like this. This is what Donald Trump said when he made the announcement. But this comes after months of the United States quietly building up forces in the Caribbean, partly to hit drug-running boats, partly to keep the pressure on Maduro's regime over narco-terrorism incidents and everything else. We've all seen the videos of those boats being blown out of the water by Pete Hegseth. And of course, we've seen the political pressure that Pete Hegseth has come under for keeping these drugs out of the United States. But also another interesting tidbit, this happens the same day Maria Corina Machado is getting her Nobel Peace Prize in Oslo, but she is banned from leaving Venezuela. So talk about timing. And also a reporter asked President Trump what is going to happen to the oil. And he just grinned and said, well, I guess we're going to keep it. But take a listen to what President Trump said when he announced that we seized this Venezuelan oil tanker.
It's been an interesting day from the standpoint of news. As you probably know, we've just seized a tanker on the coast of Venezuela, large tanker, very large. Largest one ever seized, actually. And other things are happening, so you'll be seeing that later, and you'll be talking about that later with some other vehicle. Very excitingly for me and for the country.
But here is a little bit more context on the situation. President Trump on Wednesday confirmed the United States has taken control of an oil tanker off the coast of Venezuela. Then, of course, we already heard President Trump talk about this. He announced it, but it says the president did not offer any detailed explanation for the move, saying that it was seized for a very good reason and signaling that the administration would soon release additional information. When asked about what would happen to the oil on the tanker, Trump said, we keep it, I guess. In response to questions from CNN's Kristen Holmes, Trump said he had not spoken to Maduro recently and declined to say who owns the seized tanker. A person familiar with the matter said the tanker was headed to Cuba, which has already been grappling with some of the worst power outages in decades, with blackouts stretching for hours, sometimes days. But Donald Trump was asked what we would do with the oil, and this is what the president said.
In the seizure of this tanker, what happens to the oil on that ship?
Well, we keep it, I guess.
Where does it go? What port does it go to?
Well, you have to follow the tanker. You know, you're a good newsman, just follow the tanker.
Do you know where we're going? Was it going
Follow
to
it,
China?
get a helicopter and follow the tanker.
Is it true it's going to
But
Cuba?
we're gonna, I assume we're gonna keep the oil.
Mr. President, on Fed Chair, Kevin House.
In the seizure.
But Donald Trump also addressed a couple of rumors, one about Pete Hegseth. And, you know, there was this rumor that he was unhappy with what Pete Hegseth was doing and his job performance. Also, another one about Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem. There's been rumors that he's going to fire both of them. And this is what President Trump had to say about that. Take a listen.
You're going to fire this one, or you're going to get rid of that one. Of all your cabinet members, who would you perceive as the most under attack?
Well, I think my cabinet's fantastic. I read the same stories that I'm unhappy with this one or that one, and I'm not. I think the cabinet's done a great job. I read a story that I was unhappy with Pete because he was attacking drug dealers. I said, that's not exactly right. I would say very much the opposite. Pete Hegseth has been phenomenal. I read a story recently, I'm unhappy with Kristi. I'm so happy with it. I mean, we have a closed border. We have a border that's the best border in the history of our country. Why would I be unhappy? She's fantastic, actually. No, we have a fantastic cabinet, really fantastic cabinet. I mean, Lutnick I'll have to think about. No, can't have everything. Can't have everything. He's doing great. Well, Howard's done really well, and Scott's done really well. We have just a fantastic cabinet. I'll tell you who's doing a great job is Linda McMahon. We're bringing education back to the states where it belongs. Education is going, we can't do any worse than we're doing right now.
But President Trump had some choice words for another drug leader, the president of Colombia, Gustavo Petro. He said that he might be next, and he said, I hope he's listening. Ladies and gentlemen, take a listen to what President Trump, the message that he gave Gustavo Petro. Listen.
We have 3 countries sending drugs to the U.S., Mexico, Venezuela, and Colombia. And you talked to the president of Mexico, you already talked to Nicolas Maduro. Have you considered talking to the president of Colombia, who you called a drug leader?
No, I haven't really thought too much about him. He's been fairly hostile to the United States, and I haven't given him a lot of thought. He's going to have himself some big problems if he doesn't wise up. Colombia is producing a lot of drugs. They have cocaine factories that they make cocaine, as you know, and they sell it right into the United States. So he better wise up, or he'll be next. He'll be next too. And I hope he's listening. He's going to be next. Yes,
Mr. President.
because we don't like people when they kill people, and they sell drugs. They kill them in the United States, and Colombia is a major manufacturer of drugs, meaning cocaine in particular, as you know.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, a major escalation in the conflict between Venezuela and the United States. A major oil tanker filled with oil, apparently, has been taken by our armed troops, backed up by the Navy. And man, that looked like a crazy situation right there. But it looks like we are going to be keeping the oil. And Donald Trump saying that, hey, any of these presidents, these leaders of countries who are producing drugs that are finding themselves over the border of the United States, you are on blast. You better watch out, because you are going to be next. And he specifically called out the president of Colombia, Gustavo Petro. And he didn't just say he might be next. He said he's going to be next. I hope he's listening. He's going to have some big problems if he doesn't wise up. So if I were the president of Colombia right now and I were listening, I would probably wise up and stop sending all that booger sugar over here to the United States for the Wall Street bros to have fun with. And of course, a lot of it is being mixed with fentanyl. And this is very tragic, because we have a lot of deaths that are happening in the United States due to fentanyl. And this is one of the things that Donald Trump ran on, getting fentanyl out of the United States. He's cracked down on China over this. He's cracking down on Venezuela. And now it looks like he might be cracking down on Colombia. But what do you guys think? Let me know what you think about all this down below in the comments. Like and subscribe to my channel. I'd really appreciate it. But until then, I'll see you on the next one.